All right, y'all. So I'm about to punk Benny. I'm complaining that he's late. He's 5 minutes late. So I'm sending him a whole bunch of mean texts, asking him where he is. Here he comes. All right, you ready? I guess Raw starts at 8:06 now instead of 8 o'clock because I guess they can't start the show on time because they're dealing with some BS, right? Is that what's going on here?
Apparently so, yeah. That's the story of my life.
Is that how you're gonna walk into the show, champion and complaining? Is that the kind of spirit? Is that the kind of energy you want to come into the show with today, Booch? I mean, seriously, man.
No, I'm fine. It's just I'm trying to fix a problem. Everybody's screaming at me. I got take a number, get in line. Everybody's pissed. I'm losing it.
And we welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, back to another edition of Punked Male Soap Opera Moment version. Booch, before you joined the show, I had a little fun with you. I'd let the Ones Worldians know that I was indeed giving you what the kids call a hard time. Not even one way. So I knew you were going to come in all nervous and mumbling to yourself as you usually do. and that's exactly what happened. And that's the best part of the show. I guarantee you it's all downhill moving forward. But we're going to give it the old college try. Right, Booch?
Yes, exactly. I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen of the Male Soap Opera Moment, life happens. We do the best we can. We were supposed to record this yesterday, and things happened in the Wenz world that had to change some things around.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
This is my show. This is my show. I can change it. I can reschedule. I can postpone.
You can. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying to everybody,
Well, they don't need to know our backstage business.
Go through things.
No. They don't need to know about our backstage business, Booch. This is that we give them what we give them. And now you're letting them behind the curtain, Booch. This is not my OnlyFans page, Booch. That's another link for another day. Let's get into it. SummerSlam, it was live from Music City, Tennessee, coming Nashville. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I do have to get something off my chest here.
Okay.
Besides this ridiculous cat t-shirt. I didn't win. Ladies and gents, I promised you a win, and I didn't deliver. And I promise you this. I guarantee that I will win the next prediction championship. Because if I don't, we're done with this show until WrestleMania.
Holy Jesus.
There's a lot on the line. I'm putting in my homework. I'm digging into the sheets. I am determined to win the next pay-per-view.
Yes. And normally this is the part of the show where I say, acknowledge me, and you should. But this time around, I'm not going to do the braggadocious thing because the last time I did that, I won 4-0. So I had to be braggadocious. You can't not have a shutout and just ignore that. But in this particular case with SummerSlam, we were tied up all the way to the main event. Like, Wenz came strong out of the gate. We're going to get to that where he was like killing it. Then I made the comeback, and then it was neck and neck. Then we got to the main event that was going to decide everything. And in the end, I won, but I survived. This was not like a dominant Booch is the king of the world. I survived to keep this. So this was a by the skin of my teeth victory. So I will be humble with my belt.
You know what, Booch? I came prepared to rip you to shreds today, but your humble approach has garnered you a reprieve from the wrath of the Wenz. And I like I said, I look forward to really just taking it out on you at the next one. But listen, I'm not going to be a bad sport. I'm going to give credit where credit is due to you. And here we are. SummerSlam, great pay-per-view. Like you said, by the plaque of your teeth, Booch, you escaped. And I, for one, am excited to talk about it. Like you said, I came out strong. Bianca Belair won that match, but we all won because what happened after the match really developed two like limitless potentially storylines, and one of which is this friendship out of respect between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, and the emergence of this stable with the return of Bayley. And Booch, were we not talking about Bayley's return a couple weeks ago?
We were.
And the thing about it is I didn't see it coming like this. First of all, I don't watch NXT. I don't know who these other two people are when they get on TV. I'm waiting for them to identify them for me. But then fast forward to Monday night, you see a match between Bianca Belair and...
Her original name in NXT was Io Shirai. And she was one of the top. Yeah, she was the one who was, for a brief moment, I called her the savior of NXT, because when a few years ago, when the False Flair took the NXT title, she was the one that took it back and brought it back to the NXT women. So, but she was in there for a while, but now they changed her name to Io Sky. So now her new name is Io Sky, and they've changed Io from Io to IYO. So they've done a weird name change with her, but that's who she is. She's Io Shirai. And the other girl is Dakota Kai, who was a standout in NXT before she turned heel and became phenomenal. And she had like a schizophrenic gimmick she was doing, but she was one of the people that actually got released by WWE. So Triple H brought her back. So we could see a trend of whoever got released that AEW didn't catch, Triple H might be convincing some of these people to come back, and they might feel comfortable coming back because they like Triple H. So
she's in the lap of Levesque.
Yes.
Listen, it's a comfortable place to be. And what did I say, Booch? I said, depending on what happens tonight, and that being last Saturday, we're going to see what kind of shakeup's going to occur for the red and blue brand moving forward. And we saw a good bit of that. And that was part of it. An emergence of these two superstars, one of which, like I said, came out Monday night, fought Bianca Belair, and it was not a squash match. She took her the distance. And it could have gone either way. Obviously, they want to show that, listen, Bianca is not untouchable. She's a human being. We saw that Ronda Rousey is not untouchable. She's a human being. We saw a lot of different things. And I got to give SummerSlam overall a B. I thought it was really good. And so that was the match that we kicked it off with. I got the dub on that one.
Yes.
And then it was looking good for me, Booch. What was going through your mind at this point?
Well, it was intriguing to see Bianca win because, again, I wasn't expecting it. I had to rewatch this match because for those of you that were watching the live Twitch, I missed the first hour of SummerSlam.
Yeah, who was the weirdo in your living room?
That was my friend. That is, for those of you who listen to the Boochcast, that's the broke soulless ginger. That's Zach Scott, one of my co-hosts.
I was messaging on the platform and nobody was messaging back, and then I looked to see if you were there and you weren't, and then I just gave up.
Well, here's what happened. Originally, I was supposed to pick Buff up from the airport Sunday because he had gone out of town for a show. He changed his flight and decided to come back Saturday night. So I had to pick him up at 6:30. There was a derail because of the rain. So finally, by the time I got him back to his car, because it was at the DDP Performance Center, it was 8:00. So I had to then leave from there and drive back to my house. So it took me forever. By the time I got back to the house, Logan Paul had just gone through the table by the time I walked through the door. So I had to rewatch all that.
That was fun. Well, let's just talk about that match. That was great. Miz came out with these tights that were just hilarious. Do you think, this is the thing, it's like, how long are they going to ride this gimmick? They're obviously making it a brand thing because he has a t-shirt talking about his undercarriage, as it were. This seems like it is a thing, and that's on the back of his shirt. Like, it's become... But as far as this rivalry, it looks like it's in the past now, because if you notice the video where Logan Paul did the following morning, he was looking forward to new matches. The Miz is in the background now. So this is great. It's also great because we're seeing an emergence of people like Ciampa, right? So in the Levesque lap, he's getting a shot at the U.S. title against Lashley.
Which
he's not going to have that without that, right? I mean, that's not happening.
Yeah, because Triple H was very high on Tommaso Ciampa, as a lot of us were. That's why I was mad when he was reduced to a Miz lackey. I was angry. Now, whether he's going to stay that way or not during this U.S. title run, I don't know, because I don't know how high the Miz's jealousy goes. Because think about it, he got all iffy because Logan Paul got a pinfall at WrestleMania. Yeah. So Tommaso winning the U.S. title, is that enough for Miz to like, oh, I'm going to turn on Tommaso too? Or are they going to ride that wave because the Miz might want something bigger and better? I don't know where his heel mindset's going to be. So I'm intrigued about that. But Tommaso getting a U.S. title shot, I'm amazed. I love it. I'm hoping he becomes the U.S. champion. I don't know how they're going to book that because Lashley's pretty badass, but you've got a good fight going on there. The Monday Night Raw was a clear statement. Because even I have friends who hate the main roster who called me and told me Raw was great and worth watching. I still didn't because I was skeptical. But from what I'm hearing from everybody else, WWE is becoming watchable again. Like, fans are enjoying it because Triple H is giving the same love and care to the main roster that he gave to the black and gold of NXT.
Wow. That's great insight right there. Speaking of Lashley, this is one of the matches I did not predict accurately. He got the big dub over Austin Theory, A-Town Down. Nothing of what I predicted with that saga came to pass.
Nothing
at all. He did come down during the main event and attempted to use the briefcase, got one on Reigns, and then he got taken to the F5 by Brock Lesnar. Can we just, I need to get this off my chest, Booch, and we'll talk more business here in a second, but this is bothering me. And this bloodline thing, and I texted you this, and it's like really bothering me because it's a package deal. And the Usos won again. They beat the Street Profits again, and now it's a joke on the show. Like, these losers that just talked about it, Seth Rollins making fun of Montez Ford. Like, this is a thing now, and are they Triple H guys? Like, was that already too set? Like, the Usos are going to be champs until H figures out what he wants to do? Or are the Usos over in the Levesque lap?
I think that the time is going to come, but I don't think Triple H was ready quite yet to pull the trigger on that. Like, because I think they're still doing more with the bloodline. I don't know where they're going with the Street Profits, but I don't know who's left for the Usos to fight. The only logical thing I would do if I was Triple H is he needs to start recruiting more tag teams. I think that needs to be his primary focus going forward. Because we got enough singles guys to make stuff work, especially if Drew finally beats Roman. We'll see if that happens in about a month.
It has to, right?
But it has to, but will it is the question. So we got to see where that goes with that. But Triple H needs more tag teams because there's not a lot left. And the Usos have run through everybody. So I'm hoping if Tommaso doesn't win the US title, I hope he re-signs Johnny Gargano, put DIY back together. Maybe they'll win the tag belts. You can bring a bunch of other people back that have been released, like the Authors of Pain maybe could come back. Or
I forgot about them.
You could get maybe some Insanity could come back. Maybe get there's some solid tag teams in this company. You don't have to call up the guys that are down there right now. You can re-sign people that were let go to rebuild your tag division because right now it's lackluster. And it's not because of the lack of tag teams. It's because your champs have run through everybody. So they're just reshuffling the deck. It's the same matches over and over again. That's the only disadvantage to having title reigns that last this long. You run out of people.
I'd like to see the Street Profits have a chance at the titles. I mean, with the titles they've had a chance at, but I want to see a run with them because what is this already? They're sowing the seeds, the storyline. They're planting seeds of singles career for Montez.
Yeah. I mean, if the Street Profits were to break up, Montez would be the breakout guy. I said it before. I say he's the Shawn Michaels. Angelo Dawkins is the Marty Jannetty. Like he's not going to make it. Like Angelo cannot stand on his own 2 feet. He just can't. He's as good of a wrestler as he is. He's not somebody you can propel to the top. So Montez could make it on his own. I don't know if this is going to lead to that or not, but if they lose enough times, they're going to have to split him up. But I'm hoping that's not the case because I feel like they're too good as a tag team. It's like the primetime players. Oh, there's another team you could bring back. But when they broke those guys up, their careers went nowhere after that. Darren Young went nowhere, and then they tried to do the Darren Young great again. That didn't go anywhere. Titus O'Neil was trying to make it on his own, but just couldn't hack it. Like, they were better as a tag team. Like, there's so many great tag teams they either broke up or got rid of that if you brought them back today would draw money.
Yep.
So that's the dilemma. But could Montez make it on his own? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Montez would be the guy. I mean, he's the high flyer. He's also on the, like I said, he's good. He can cut a promo, and they already have him beefing with Rollins.
Yeah.
Like, and how long until we see Rollins back in the Universal title hunt? Or is he said, I'm all right. Y'all build up the Young Bucks, and then I'll be here if you need me to triple threat match. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Is he a Levesque guy anymore? Because it seemed like he was for a long time with that whole Shield saga.
Yeah.
And then he had a nice little run. So, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. I love his character now.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, they're kind of using it. I think it's because he's accomplished so much already. They're kind of using him to put new talent over.
Yep.
Because that's the problem is you can't have somebody like that lose too many times. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that most people don't understand is if you want to put somebody over, you got to be established as well. So if you're on a losing streak, like if 10 guys have already beaten you and I'm number 11, I don't care how legendary you are, it ain't a big deal. You got to get a winning streak back on the person. That way, when somebody wipes you out, it means more.
Right.
Like, for example, like I don't know if Goldberg's done or not, but if they were to bring him back, before you bring him back to job to somebody, I'd have him do a couple shows where he could beat a couple guys like really fast. Like when he beat Brock, then eventually he beat Kevin Owens.
Yep. Gotta play.
And he went to Brock at Mania and lost.
Mm-hmm.
But then he faced Dolph Ziggler, plowed through him. He beat The Fiend, plowed through him. And then, well, not really plowed through him, but won. And then when it came time, he jobbed to Strowman, he jobbed to Roman, he jobbed to McIntyre. Like, they used him to put over the guys that they're actually pushing as main eventers, but every now and then they throw him in with a couple people, spear, jackhammer, just to establish I'm Goldberg.
Right.
But like, he's lost so many times. If he lost another match, it wouldn't mean much. Have him beat like when he lost to Bobby, but then he beat Bobby. It's like, okay, he's winning, he's losing, he's winning, he's losing. You gotta flip flop it, and they're doing that. So I think with Seth needs to get a few more wins under his belt before he puts anybody over. Like, if they're planning on him putting over Riddle, and God, I hope they don't. But if he is going to put over Riddle, Seth needs to start beating some people before Riddle comes back. Like, have him get on a winning streak, Seth Rollins beating all these people, then have Riddle come in and wipe him out. It'll mean more than if he beats him after he's lost 15 matches in a row.
Yeah, no, agreed. 100% agreed. So just taking it back to where we started this conversation, the Usos are going to be over until they either pull somebody up from NXT or bring one of those tag teams that you mentioned back. And that's the only conceivable outcome in there, unless they continue to recycle old beefs and whatever. And RK Bro is done for the time being. So I don't know. Well, a lot remains to be seen there. But the other tag team match we haven't talked about is that Mysterio's match. And boy, were we wrong about this. So this whole thing I should have seen this coming. Like, why was I so dumb to think that the Rated R Superstar wasn't going to come back in the way that he did? And it was after everything happened, obviously, but it was a sign of what was before it. And I should have known. I cannot believe I picked this one.
This was the only bad match on the card, in my opinion. This is the only match I didn't like. Every other match, regardless of who won or lost, was very well done. This was the only match that stunk up the joint. And it stunk up the joint for a variety of reasons. One, it was a no disqualification match, but it didn't feel like one.
True.
Now, obviously, I wouldn't expect him to use an insane amount of weapons because that happened later. But you could use like a chair or two. Give me some indication there's no DQ other than Rhea Ripley interfering, which again, I don't like. If Dominic's supposed to be tough, why is he getting manhandled? It's by Rhea Ripley. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Storyline wise. Also, I was hoping this is the moment Dominic's going to go heel. That doesn't work. Edge's return was great.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen the Judgment Day win, have Dominic turn heel. They beat down on Ray. Then Edge comes out. Then you could have had Edge and the fire, and he runs out, takes out the Judgment Day. They retreat. He helps Ray to his feet. Ray's help, but he looks heartbroken as Dominic's standing there, knowing that he's joining the Judgment Day. That would have been such a better ending. Instead, you just had them come out.
It's too good, Booch. They'll never give us that kind of.
No,
They'll never give us that kind of drama that we really want. Like really want. We want them to tell this story about Eddie. Like, so she wears the shirt. Is that, and then that's it. Did you? I mean, was there anything else? Did I miss it? Did I fall asleep? I did doze off a couple times Saturday night and some on Monday, and that's why we're doing the show a day later. But like, they wore a shirt. She wears a shirt. I'm your poppy. But do they really expand on that? Are they going to pursue that, or is that just a one and done kind of like? Huh?
That's the problem. It might be one and done, and that's why it wasn't good. So yeah, this was not a good match. It didn't tell the story right. So this was like, now it's going to be Edge focusing on the Judgment Day. I don't know if the Mysterios are going to help Edge, but I'm not enjoying where this is going. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well, it looks like they abandoned the Dominic to the Judgment Day angle already with the return of Edge, unless somehow Edge befriends the Mysterios and then does like a double turn and screws Dominic, and Dominic is then forced to join the Judgment Day in some like Ray versus Edge match, which would be kind of actually a really great match. That would be kind of cool. Huh.
Yeah.
But they'll never do it. They're not thinking enough. They're not even going down the rabbit trails that we go down here in the 30 minutes we do this show. So overall, I mean, we talked about it. The outcome of SummerSlam was, I felt like it was a B pay-per-view overall. You just talked about the part that really stunk it up. But overall it was a really good pay-per-view. Yeah. Bottom line, you got the dub because of the main event. We were tied up going into that. Let's just talk about the main event for a minute as we conclude. Go ahead.
Well, the quick thing I want to talk about first is Pat McAfee and Corbin had a great match.
I thought the intro, McAfee's intro, was the coolest part.
Oh yeah, he said that. He even said on his radio show the next day, like his internet show, he said that he admits there were certain aspects of the match that didn't go the way he wanted, because when he trained for the match, but he didn't expect the humidity and how hot it was going to be in an outdoor stadium in Nashville, and the fact that it was like the ropes were a little slippery. That's why you saw him kind of wobbling a little bit on the ropes.
Oh yeah, he almost bit it. Yep.
Yeah. So he was able to recover very well.
He landed the shot. He landed it. He landed the jump. Yeah.
He did very well, but there were certain moves that could have been done a lot better if he was more properly prepared. So it wasn't the cleanest match he ever had, but I wouldn't have been able to tell if he hadn't said it. I thought the match was very well done. But as far as the main event, I have not been on the edge of my seat for a main event that much in a long time. Like, Jesus Christ. Every time you thought they were done, they got up.
Yeah. I mean, that's what made it. I mean, it was great. But again, the involvement of the Usos, just, it changes everything. And I know they're part of this bloodline. I know they're going to ride it until the wheels fall. But dude, it just steals. It like literally, it took the life out of me when I knew that Brock Lesnar was not going to win, because and then it also took the life out of me when Theory comes down and then the Usos get involved on him. The Usos super kick Brock Lesnar right in the face right after Theory comes down. It's like, okay. And then just continued interference night in and night out. I mean, the tractor all the way down, that was amazing. Turning the ring, like, I don't know, that was a Triple H old school DX level prank. Well, that's all I got.
Well, how good was that tractor flipping the ring? I thought was really a good highlight for the match. And also as far as Bayley's faction goes, I think I know where this is going to go. I want to bring this up.
Go for it.
Because remember, before Bayley got injured, she was supposed to face Bianca for a title. It was a SmackDown title at the time. And they were supposed to have an I Quit match. So the question is, now that Bayley's back and it looks like she's going for the title, are they going to make it an I Quit match? Because I think they need to. Because I think they should. I'd make it an I Quit match at the castle.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like that. I will know more about, what matches are booked for that one. And we'll obviously do a preview show for that, but that's all I got. And it's almost dinner time, Boosh. I gotta get out of here and go pick up some Burger King here. What's up?
Well, I gotta pick up
sponsor of the show unless you want to sponsor.
Well, I got some pasta I'm gonna eat in a bit, but there's still one thing we got to talk about because we teased it last week, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, my estranged dad apparently.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yeah.
Has announced he is retired. He is officially no longer running the WWE. As we know, earlier this year, he was dealing with accusations where he had
accusations.
Yes, where he had apparently had an affair with a paralegal who worked for WWE. They were kind of having an affair. And when the relationship ended, obviously she paid him like a couple $1 million and basically signed a non-disclosure agreement saying don't talk about the relationship. Now, the relationship, from what I've read, was consensual. The breakup was obviously, hey, I assume it was mutual. I don't know if it was or not, but either way, they said, hey, here's some money, here's this. So, because he didn't want it being made public, like most business people don't when they have affairs. Well, the reason he's under investigation is not for the sex, because I mentioned before that was consensual. These were two grown adults doing grown adult things. However, the question is where the money came from. Because did Vince take that out of his personal bank account, or was that company money that went to her? Because
shareholders.
Yeah, shareholders and stuff like that. So if it came from the company, if it was company money paid to her, Vince is liable and can serve some jail time or get a slap on the wrist or whatever they do with rich people. He's liable to go to jail, possibly. But if it was personal money, then he's off the hook because they can't tell him what to do with his own money. So, because what most people don't know is even though you own a company, you have the company money and you have the take home. And I'll use this side note as an example. And I learned this from watching Shark Tank. When Diamond Dallas Page was on Shark Tank, they mentioned that DDP Yoga, his company, at the time, I don't know how much it is today, but at the time he was on Shark Tank, it grossed over $3 million a year. So the company itself makes $3 million. From that $3 million, Dallas's take home was about $890,000 a year.
Sure.
So $890,000 from that $3 million goes into his account. The rest goes towards paying employees, operating revenue, shipping merch.
Sure.
Rent on the building.
We get it.
I'm just trying to, so where did the money go to? And also they said that at one point she got like a raise while working there. Did the raise come from the affair or because she was just a damn good paralegal? So there's a lot of investigation going into that. But then in the midst of this, there were also, Vince started getting some speaking out Me Too allegations, like people accusing him of harassing them or female wrestlers being accused of being harassed, or one girl claims she was raped in the 80s. We have no evidence of this. These are just things being said. We can't confirm nor deny that any of these things happened. But in the midst of all of it, at first, Vince decided, I'm going to step down as the chairman and take a sabbatical. That was originally. And Stephanie was placed in charge as the interim chairperson. Mm-hmm. So when this investigation was over, Vince was going to come back and resume his roles. But Vince was still involved in creative. So Stephanie ran the company, but Vince was still in creative. Then we don't know if it's because of the speaking out allegations or because there might be more stuff coming out at some point. We don't know what, or maybe Vince just decided I'm done. I don't know what the reason is, but Vince ultimately decided I'm retiring. Stephanie is now the chairperson of WWE. She is running the whole ship. She's co-CEO at Nick Khan, not related to Tony. And Triple H is now the executive vice president of talent relations. He's now the head of creative, as we mentioned on the last show, because John Laurinaitis was also under investigation in addition to Vince.
JBL?
No, John Laurinaitis, not Layfield.
Oh, okay.
People power. He was under investigation.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So that's why. But John Laurinaitis he's expendable. So he was out the door. Vince is choosing to leave because maybe even though there's a board of directors that could vote him out. So Vince was like choosing to leave. Vince is not being asked to leave over this. Laurinaitis is gone. So that's the issue here but Vince McMahon is retiring and now they're trying to move forward without him. People are already excited about it. Some people think Kevin Dunn might be the next to go, but Triple H did say Kevin's part of the team for now. So we don't know where he stands with this. Are they going to get rid of Kevin? Because a lot of people don't like Kevin. But now the company is changing. And SummerSlam has shown that things are going in a different direction. Raw, SmackDown coming up. So in the next couple of weeks, we're finally going to find out, get the answer. Will WWE be better now that the old man's no longer running things?
Ooh, I love that. Love that. And you know what else I love?
What?
The fact that we will never, ever leave without saying a couple key things. One of which is, have a nice day.
The other is, bang, bang.